What do you consider the national consciousness?
Realistically, my brain. He hasn't been. Realistically.
Welcome back to Macrodosing. It's Monday. It's March 21st. Tuesday, March 21st.
I was about to say, what the fuck?
All right, off to a bad start.
Yeah.
What's the 21st of March?
Dude,
is that some sort of
spring
equinox?
Oh, we missed the Ides of March.
No, I didn't.
I remember.
Everybody go out there and murder your senator.
Actually,
Maybe don't.
Knock on wood.
Actually, no, do that.
Are we into insurrection now? Are you getting into it?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm getting into it.
I've been into insurrection for a while, but
I'm gonna get a little riled up.
actually,
Might be when
I might do
when
some
this
tomorrow.
podcast-
I'm thinking about doing actually when this airs. I might be at a government building. Who
yeah, I'm
knows?
sure he will be. Today's episode,
Covering.
part of my take.
Nope.
Shout out.
Not on my part of my take.
All right, I gotta start. This
Oh my god!
Forget about
I was the one who did 3 days of St. Patrick's Day.
I didn't even party that hard this
I
weekend.
feel
Started over.
I feel cheated
Dude.
on. Actually, I feel cheated on. That's
Yeah,
what's
dude,
up.
you just said another woman's name in bed.
I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with me this morning. I got a solid 6 hours of sleep.
It's
Don't blame
1:20
the
in the
sleep.
afternoon.
I hit a Peloton.
Don't blame
What?
the sleep.
I was up until like
Nobody cares.
2:30
You
recording
fucked
the
up.
show.
Yeah,
You
it's-
did. Billy's right. You said another woman's name in bed.
Yeah, dude. Now, Sahara Desert, bro.
Shit.
You're going-
What is it?
Big
Sahara
cat.
Desert, bro.
Oh, thank God Billy's on the show because that just pulled me out of the fire.
We're doing so well. Hey guys, so we kind of got into a roundabout conversation about Trump, CNN, politics for about 40 minutes. So what we did is we threw it on the back end of the episode, and we're just getting right into the Tennessee Minute and some awesome conversations about urban planning. And if you want to hear us argue basically about the same thing and kind of disagree but agree with each other at the same times, just it's on the back of the end of the episode.
Big T.
What's up?
Let's do the Tennessee Minute.
Let's do it.
Tennessee Minute. Tennessee advances. They beat the fuck out of Duke.
Just bullied them.
You guys
Just
are
absolute
you guys are
bully
a
ball.
dirty
Did they really
team.
beat Duke? Oh shit.
Dirty team.
Beat the hell out of them.
Really dirty
Literally
team.
and in the game.
From the get-go, they were throwing elbows,
No,
knocking
this
people in the face.
This notion that has somehow arisen in the last 48 hours that like Tennessee's dirty. If anyone can find me one supposed foul in the game that was not called, I'm willing to watch it.
There was one. There was an elbow that got thrown by the same guy, I think.
Why do we not want to be known as dirty? Fuck that. Be dirty.
No.
He's a bad
So
boy.
we have one guy. He's a 7-foot Serbian, and he's a menace. He's a beast. But the play you're talking about was Olivier Cumwell was coming down with a rebound, and his elbow hit Kyle Filipowski in the face. Which
No, different one. There was another elbow that got thrown that I think they called a blocking foul on. They called it against the defense after he got elbowed.
well, if we want to talk about the officiating in a 13-point game, they called a 5th foul on Duke's leading scorer. There was no one else in the area, and then that was mysteriously changed to a foul on someone else so he could stay in the game. We'd have won by 20 if Jeremy Roach went out with 8 minutes left or whatever it was.
Yeah.
That game was not close.
I'm not saying that it was I'm not blaming the officials for getting anything wrong. I'm not saying that it was rigged or
I
anything.
saw you say you were rooting for Duke, by the way.
Well, I had a future on them.
No.
I was going to win $10,000 if they won the championship.
Okay, well, now you're not.
No, but guess what? Guess what? I also have a future on Tennessee
I love that.
that I put in like 2 months ago before Ziegler got hurt. So I am rooting for Tennessee in their next matchup.
The draw is there.
You know what's wild, Big T? We have an athletic director matchup.
Brothers.
The White brothers.
Yep.
We've got Danny and Brian White, athletic directors at Tennessee and FAU.
And their third brother is Mike White, the basketball coach at Georgia.
No way.
Mm-hmm. And their dad was Duke's AD for like 30 years.
This is like the shadow government of the NCAA.
Oh, no,
It's
they're
the nepotism Super Bowl.
They're the first family of ADs for sure.
Wow. This is like the Mannings, except if they weren't good at sports and they were good at
administration.
being around sports.
Right. I'm excited. Playing here in New York City.
Are you gonna go? You're gonna go to the Mecca?
Of course. It's gonna be fun.
You know how I knew that Duke was going to lose?
No.
Was because I know some kids who go to Duke, and the basketball team still has the Duke basketball persona. They get all the accolades, but they haven't earned it under Coach K.
Mm-hmm.
What'd I say? What was it?
I didn't.
Just
I
keep
didn't.
going.
I didn't
We'll
interrupt.
say
you.
it after.
But I think my face said it all when I heard.
Accolades.
Accolades.
I rarely wince, but
I have to look over at PFT to see if he's going to say something.
Yeah.
I was going to let Billy cook.
Keep cooking,
Keep
Billy.
cooking.
You're just preheating the oven.
So
Anyway,
still
they
have-
didn't play under Coach K, and it's a totally different environment, and it's a totally different workload. So that Coach K kept them accountable, even though Duke basketball was such an esteemed
You're saying
group on campus.
Shire's being soft.
Coach
Yeah.
K's team would have punched back.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So when they got out there, they've been being treated like Duke basketball, but they never trained like Duke basketball, which was Coach K's coaching philosophy.
Duke
and
went
keeping them
woke.
accountable. Yeah, low key probably.
Yeah, Duke went woke. Then they lost to the Tennessee guys.
I mean, Tennessee they're punching
Punked them.
you did.
punching way above their weight class.
You made Duke your prison bitch.
Yeah, it was fun
It
to
would be-
watch.
Did you think a Bama team, like imagine if Nick Saban retired, you think Bama would play like Bama, but they would get treated like Bama on campus every day and
Yeah.
think they were Bama, but they're not Bama.
So they ain't Duke.
Exactly. They
Y'all ain't
weren't
Duke.
Exactly. So
Tennessee's supposed to be SEC.
Saban holds them accountable.
Mm-hmm. All right. I don't hate that take, but Big T, I'm very happy for you.
I was, I was really looking forward to potentially maybe playing Memphis or Kentucky here in New York, and it was foolish of me to think those programs would make it to the Sweet 16. A lot of good ball clubs not in the Sweet 16. We're still in it.
That would have been
So-
so great if we got an Elite Eight, Kentucky versus Tennessee.
I almost wouldn't have been able to. It would have either been the greatest win of all time, or like I would the worst, not the worst loss of all time, like the worst day of all time.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm. You know what though? You're in a great position. You can say like, I wish that we were going to.
No, I do. I
play
wanted to
Kentucky.
play Memphis in the Sweet 16.
And you wanted Kentucky in the Elite Eight.
Yeah, and it's a shame that they're not here. I was looking forward to some good banter at the Garden, and instead it's just a bunch of nice Midwesterners and old people from Boca that are coming.
Yeah.
So,
And Jake.
Wait, who are you guys playing?
Florida Atlantic, and then the other game is Kansas State, Michigan State.
I am. I would be worried about Kansas State if I were you.
They look good. I'm
Noel's my favorite player in the country.
So I refuse to engage in Elite Eight talk. But my focus is solely on FAU. If I were to engage in Elite Eight talk, I would say that Izzo in the Elite Eight and Isaac Hauser is the perfect prototype white dude who scores 31 points and eliminates Tennessee. That would potentially make me worrisome, but I'm not engaging in Elite Eight talk because my focus is squarely on the Sweet 16 and Florida Atlantic.
It's smart. One game at a time.
It's 3 2-game tournaments. We won the first one.
I am rooting for Tennessee this round, big time.
Okay.
Big time. FAU. Everyone at FAU is really nice. They stayed in our hotel that we were at in Columbus. The team was there. Everyone around that team was awesome. Like, we got a chance to talk to some of the like athletic directors, SIDs, some of the players, some of the coaches' wives. Just all delightful people.
I'm sure they're great
talk
people.
to. They also, I mean, going to FAU, I said this on Part by Take, but it's the campus that I would like to attend college at if I had to do it all over again.
Is right on the beach.
Why would you not want to go to school on the beach?
Florida Gulf Coast. Didn't they like build their own beach?
Probably, yeah.
FGCU. It's on like a man-made. They built their campus around a beach.
Yeah.
Should we just all go back to school?
Yeah, Arian, did you ever consider when you were coming out of high school, like, why don't I just go play football at Hawaii?
Oh, I tried. Well, no, I'll say so. I take it back. I wanted to take my visit there, right? Just to go visit Hawaii.
Yeah.
I think I said this before, but they wouldn't let me because they knew I wasn't serious about going. And I don't know. I think coming out of high school, you're like looking back. I could have went anywhere and the NFL would have found me. But you don't know that coming out. Like, you don't know if you can play at the next level, right? Like, it's just you just don't know. You think you can, and so I would have definitely done probably something different. But you know, it was good. I wanted to prove myself in the SEC because I was like the powerhouse, like playing ball in the SEC. That's what it was. It was more of an ego thing.
I actually had a whole conversation about Hawaii over the weekend, and I didn't mention this part and part of my take, but apparently there was a kid who went to Hawaii. Apparently the suicide rate is very high at Hawaii because a lot of mainlanders go to Hawaii and they get very isolated from their family and friends, and it's a very insular population where if you're not from Hawaii, it's like hard to break into the sorority fraternity scene, just like it is in the South. And like a lot of dudes have a terrible time there.
Okay, interesting.
Because we were like having this exact same conversation and brought the stats out.
I bet that that the University of Hawaii has a protocol in place because they probably do get a lot of people that want to go there on their visits, and they have to have a screening process.
So I believe you have to be committed to even go on a visit now.
That might be something like that.
I think that's the case. But yeah, you can't just take one of your 5 officials there.
And plus, football wise, the travel schedule is pretty hard.
That's true.
That's something that we also were talking about.
Imagine how many miles they rack up, though.
I was with one of my buddies who was getting interest from Hawaii. He was a big offensive tackle, and we were talking about, like, why did you go to Hawaii? And, like why didn't you take it? Like, you could have gotten it. And he was saying, like, these are the reasons. I heard this about this. And the, like, flying on, like, having, like, 6-hour flights for travel is just brutal compared to, like, the other travel schedules of, like, a Patriot League school in the Northeast.
Yeah.
And being away from family.
Yeah. Well, I would still take interest. I would show interest in Hawaii.
Yeah.
If I was
FAU
would be so sick.
FAU's top degree is bio.
Really?
I looked it up. I wanted, like, because every school's got, like, their specialty degree.
Their bio guys?
Because it's like pre-med.
I would also take a visit at UNLV. Get a Vegas weekend in.
Also, actually, I knew a quarterback who played at UNLV, and he hated it. He then transferred back to like a school around his hometown. He said that Vegas was also a terrible place to play in because outside, like, your coaches don't want you on the strip.
Yeah.
100%. You can't, like, and then the campus is, like, there, but, like, everyone knows.
Yeah, you know what?
It's like a slippery. There's no college type atmosphere.
Well, no, there is in Vegas. If you go, like, a little bit north of downtown, there's some places that you could go. But I think maybe going to college in Vegas would kind of suck because you don't have any money.
Yeah, that.
And
too.
what are you going to do in Vegas if you're poor? Vegas might be the worst place to visit on vacation if you don't have a surplus of money to spend.
Yeah,
it's a hot take, man. Vegas is kind of weak.
Yeah,
it's kind of weak. Like I don't know. Like it's not like I don't know. I've been like three times maybe. I don't go that much because like when I went there, it was just I don't know. It's like bar gambling, clubbing, desert. Not really I don't know. It's just me. Maybe I'm not a big gambler
Vegas.
though. So
people in their early mid-20s, just in their 20s in general, you absolutely should love Las Vegas. But once you get into your mid-30s, you're gonna be like, I still like it, but give me one night in Vegas and get me the hell out.
Yeah, weekend.
Not even. I don't think I would.
2-3 nights.
Maybe 2 nights. Maybe.
Actually, what I did 2 nights, catch a red eye, the third night, and fly home and sleep on the plane. That was a huge move because then you don't have to spend 2 nights on hotels.
I mean, that's your 20-year-old brain working. Of course, you're gonna have fun with that.
It's sick walking. It's one of the only places. Mad Dog's a big fan of walkable urban planning.
Oh my God, yeah, that tweet went crazy for whatever reason.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
It was a good tweet.
Really?
So describe the tweet.
Yeah. Okay. So I was hanging out with all my guy friends on Saturday night. Sick brag. I have guy friends, and we were talking about Chicago, and I was like talking about how I like how I don't have to have a car here, yada yada. And then they got into this. They were all really drunk, and they all got into this like debate about walkable cities and urban planning. And is that a guy thing that I just didn't know? Like, because Quigs does it here too, and a couple of my guy friends do it, where they do the YouTube queue of just urban planning and infrastructures of different cities in America. And then they just got into this heated debate about walkable cities and how America needs more, yada, yada, yada. And I tweeted it, and I have never had such spirited replies to one of my tweets. Like, I had 80 replies to this tweet about is guys talking about walkable cities normal, and I had like dudes being like, oh, you just hang out with soy boys, like, oh
no, it's
blah, blah.
valid.
And then the other side of that was like, that is my favorite thing to talk about with my guy friends.
We actually there was a tweet before your tweet like years ago that talked about how Americans love college so much because it's the only time, like it was a European talking about how Americans love college so much because it's the only time in their lives that they live
in a walkable
in a
city.
walkable place where all their amenities are walkable, and that like in Europe that's like the norm. And that's actually kind of what I love about Vegas is that you can just like
walk everywhere.
you can like walk, get a coffee, like even though it's all Disneyland fake type structures, like you're just walking, having a good time. Like you can buy beers everywhere.
Hell yeah.
Like
I think people like the tweet because it's one of those things that you it's like super dorky to talk about and to admit. But yeah, I think when guys start like it's a major dudes rock moment. We're being nerdy as fuck together.
Yeah.
But yeah, walkable cities is the shit.
I was the only girl with like 6 dudes, and all of them were talking about how like Louisville, I guess, could have been like all of these.
I love how you pronounce Louisville.
I think that's how you say it.
Yeah, no, the drunker you sound when you pronounce Louisville, that's the more
less
correct.
you move your mouth.
Yeah, it's more correct. It is.
But like all of them were getting into this, and then I had like I got on like urban planning Twitter, like famous urban planners were then in my replies being like, "Do you want me to send you my urban planning book?
let's have one of them on."
And okay.
But
I was Gooch, Mr. Gooch, who is a friend of the program, was there, and he was like so heated about this. But then there were like urban planners being like, "Do you want me to send you my book about walkable cities in America?" And I was like, how'd you find this?
It's important. It's like one of those things like it's like a very meta way of understanding why you have a good time at like if you visit a city.
Yeah, well then they were talking about, no offense, Arian, they were ragging on Houston about how awfully set up Houston is. I've never been, but they were like, yeah, you can't get anywhere around it. And I was like, well, Arian lives in Houston, but I was like, also Arian has a different
Arian stays in his house or goes to the golf course, and he doesn't go anywhere.
I was like, one, Arian doesn't live in like downtown Houston. Also, you have like maybe a different tax bracket that could provide you a happier way of living than like other people in Houston.
Yeah.
But yeah, Houston came up in debate.
I would love to talk to an urban planner.
I almost minored in it in college.
It's fascinating.
It really is.
Because I'm sure there's so much stuff that goes into it that we have no idea about.
Right.
Like the vibes are low key.
No, it's like they're like a vibe planner.
You want
really.
to get down to like vibes and what makes the vibes good. Urban planning.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I think living here, we don't think about it as much because everything
we take
in
it
New
for
York,
granted.
right? And then they got into the whole like public transport debate, and I was like, well, we live in a really great city for that as well. So I think like I never think about it, but it was just like one of those moments. Was I in a dude's rock kind of movie?
Yes, you were.
Yeah,
you
and I
definitely
found
were.
out I was.
Also, the United States being mostly built, the infrastructure being built after the automobile
That's
was
what they were
invented.
saying. That's what they were all
That's like
saying.
why we got screwed with like New York's good, Boston's good, because they were all like revolutionary cities. Philadelphia, certain areas, but the invention of the automobile, because everyone was like thinking the exact other way because driving was so novel and getting places
They're like, let's
so
make
quickly.
it fun to
Like
drive.
LA sucks.
Let's make let's be able to drive everywhere because that was what the vibe was. But
now people are looking at the trend of trying to do more walkable cities and being like, they're trying to take away our cars and our freedom.
right.
But like if you just live in a city that's walkable, if you live in a town that's walkable, it doesn't have to be a big city. If you live in any sort of town that's walkable, you're gonna love it. It's way better. Now I do like being able to drive places, but having all your shit that's close by and you can just walk to makes life so much easier.
Then you don't have to pay for car insurance or car payment.
But
That's
you
what
know,
I like too.
you know why there's been such a change is because our lives have become so much more sedentary that we're sitting all the time. So back then, people would most of their work was more manual, and they got more exercise just doing regular things. So on the weekend, people just wanted to chill and drive places, sit down. Like
Why have to walk everywhere?
Yeah,
It sucks.
Yeah, like I just got done at my job at the factory. Like I want to go get into my very affordable, mass-produced car
My Toyota.
and drive to the diner and go doo-wop. Like,
Yeah.
go listen to doo-wop with my fucking finned Cadillac after I got done at my union job that got me a house
And a pension.
and a pension, and like
Right.
can afford to have like a whole family at 23.
Right,
Like,
exactly.
Like, I worked hard for this shit. I want
we go.
to get my car.
Pro union Billy.
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
It was a very funny moment. I did not think that tweet would do what it did.
Yeah, dudes love talking about walkable areas for sure.
Mhm.
So were some of those cities, the early cities, were they horse friendly cities?
Yeah. So actually, my grandmother's father was a truck driver during the time when the transition from horse-drawn truckers to like mechanical big trucks, and he was a very good horseman. Like, he was very good with horses, and his whole thing was like, when the automobile started becoming more popular to do long distance trucking, he would still go on long truck trips to Montana to get horses to bring them back to New York to sell them for carriages for people to so like that whole transition is something that's also very interesting to me, because horse-friendly cities were actually, like, the urban planning for it was different. So a lot of those parks you see in New York that are like very small and weird, they were supposed to be where you tied up horses.
Horse parking lots.
Yeah.
Oh,
They were-
really?
and they could graze. So in there was different. Oh, I gotta talk to my grandma.
Yeah,
She's
we
the
got to get.
best.
Okay, let's get an urban planner on the show.
Yeah.
Do you want me to get an urban planner on the show? Okay.
Would love that.
If you have any famous urban planners, please tweet them at me so
Yeah.
I can.
City Talk was brought to you by Rocket Money. The average person has around how many paid subscriptions would you guess Big T the average person has?
I'm gonna go with a dozen.
It's exactly 12 paid subscriptions.
That's why they pay me the big bucks.
Think about that. If you're only subscribed to a handful of services, you might want to double check. With Rocket Money, you can quickly identify and cancel all your unwanted subscriptions. I've used Rocket Money. It's found subscriptions that I don't even remember signing up for. Rocket Money, formerly known as Truebill, is a personal finance app. It finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions. It monitors your spending, and it helps you lower your bills all in one place. Over 80% of people have subscriptions they forgot about, like a streaming service that you bought to just watch one show on, or the free trial that you never even used. Simply find the subscription on Rocket Money, the one that you don't want, and press cancel, and Rocket Money will cancel it for you. It will quickly and easily identify your subscriptions for you so you can stop paying for the ones that you don't want. Stop throwing your money away, cancel unwanted subscriptions, and manage your expenses the easy way by going to rocketmoney.com/macro. That's rocketmoney.com/macro, rocketmoney.com/macro. We're going to wrap up the show here in a second, but before we do, before we get to our last segment, it's brought to you by Factor. You can power up for springtime with Factor. They're America's #1 ready-to-eat meal kit. You can get nutritious, chef-prepared meals delivered straight to your door, leaving you time and energy to tackle everything on your to-do list. Factor sent me a big box of their meals. They're delicious. I've been bringing them into the office. Their shrimp is really good, actually. I don't bring that in the office. You don't want to microwave shrimp in the office, but I had it at home the other day. Great shrimp. They're prepared by chefs and approved by dietitians. Each meal has all the ingredients you need to feel satisfied all day long. They're super healthy. You can skip the trip to the grocery store, skip the chopping, the prepping, and the cleaning up. Factor's fresh, never frozen meals are ready in just 2 minutes, so all you have to do is heat and enjoy. I think that's what I like the most about Factor's meals, is that they're not frozen. You pop them in the microwave, but very rarely will you see a meal delivery service that sends you meals that are fresh. They taste great. Get Factor. Enjoy clean eating without the hassle. Choose your meals. Enjoy fresh, flavor-packed meals delivered to your door, ready in just 2 minutes. No prep, no mess. Go to factormeals.com/dosing50 and use code dosing50 to get 50% off your first box. That's code dosing50 at factormeals.com/dosing50 and get 50% off your first box. Factor.
Last thing about horses in the automobile.
Yeah.
automobile. No, like, this is so interesting.
Go off.
So you know how brownstones in New
I
York,
was just
old
gonna say
brownstones.
that. I was just gonna say that.
Yeah,
Yes.
they there's like stairs. It's because before the automobile, there was so much horse manure and donkey manure on the streets that it would pile up, and then people would then collect it and sell it for manure and fertilizer. but the smell was so bad that they made the cities more car friendly because it was considered so much cleaner than the horse-drawn alternatives where there was just piles of manure of like horse shit everywhere and it wouldn't get picked up. And that's also why that's why the stairs on old brownstones are built that way, so you could literally just climb up out of the manure and the manure wasn't right outside your door.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
That's a
Urban
hot
planning
take I
talk.
have
Who
too.
knew?
Is like horse shit, like in the environment, like where there's like rodeo and shit. I don't hate that smell. That's weird.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It doesn't seem dirty for some reason.
It's got a
it's-
barn smell.
It kind of blends with the environment, and I just don't hate it because my mom grew up on a farm, and so my grandpa was a rancher, and so we used to go visit him and stuff, and we used to do rodeos and shit. My cousin actually was like a national winter roper. She used to rope cows and shit, and so growing up, I was around it a little bit, and I never hated the smell. Like you would think it's just a whole bunch of shit, but I just didn't hate it.
You should be on Yellowstone. You really should. You dropped the ball in that audition.
I mean, it's like the 4th time. I mean, if you know somebody, man, let me know.
They're making new spin-offs.
They are. They've got like 7 spin-offs.
Yeah,
of it.
I've watched all of them.
I don't think I
They're
have
good.
it in me to be committed to anything. This is the only thing I'm committed to.
I agree.
Appreciate that.
I agree with you, Arian. I think that the barn smell is a good one that a lot of people appreciate.
Yeah.
You know what I don't like? The worst smelling city in America. This might be a hot take. Probably not. Bill, you know what I'm going to say?
Are you going
We
to say
experienced
Amarillo?
Yeah, Amarillo, Texas.
The whole thing smells like a barn.
Not even a barn though, like a really really dirty barn.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of
Stock.
cattle processing, a lot of stockyards around.
Yeah.
And the shit smell is overwhelming in Amarillo, Texas.
I think that might have to do with not horse or cattle manure, but I think there's pigs. I think that's what it is.
I think it's cows.
Let me check it out. Amarillo
Yeah.
smell.
If you've never been,
Great place though.
yeah, we had a great time in Amarillo. But if you're from Amarillo, I think you probably get used to it.
Yeah.
I know.
I hope somebody's listening to this and be like,
Oh
"Say
my God,
city
it
smell
is
like
cattle.
shit."
Hereford, Texas, which is right next to Amarillo, more than 1 million head of cattle annually within its nearby feed yards. Wow. That's crazy.
Worst smelling city in America.
The Hereford area produces 1 billion pounds of milk, 125 gallons of milk, 100
New York in the
pounds of
summer-
cheese.
This shit can get bad when the trash pile up. That shit
Yeah.
can get
Yep.
bad.
It smells like piss.
Yeah, the hot trash, the piss, the human shit. New York City is a bad smelling city too.
But
Like right now, it's fine though.
San Francisco must smell terrible because it's hotter
There's a-
longer there.
I think you get a lot of wind coming in off the water in San
Yeah.
Francisco, so I'm sure certain parts smell pretty bad. But I've spent not a lot of time there, but I feel like it didn't overwhelm me.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever been.
What other some bad smelling cities?
Cleveland by the lake is not the greatest smell in the world. I'll bank on them there.
You know when New York smells the worst?
July.
If there's a summer storm and they have to open up the sewers into the East River because of overflow, and then you have a hot day the next day
That's a bad
and
day.
you're by the river, that's when it smells the worst because you have like New York City sewage in the river drying up on the side and
Yeah.
it smells terrible.
Harrisonburg, Virginia, on a rainy day, and people that go to JMU or live in the Shenandoah Valley, it's a niche audience. You guys know what I'm talking about. It smells like dog food.
Why?
I've heard that there's a chicken processing plant that's close by that gives a dog food smell. I've heard also there's a dog food factory close by. That seems like an urban legend because it does smell like exactly like dog food.
Oh, Randall's Island in New York, there's a sewage treatment plant there.
Yeah, that smells really bad.
So like if you ever been to like Gov Ball
yeah.
there, sewage treatment plants in general, being around them sucks.
Yeah, agreed.
Smell terrible.
My first
Oh, another
apartment in
niche-
Houston was right by a sewage plant.
That's the stuff you can't find on the apartments.com.
No, they
Yeah.
don't tell you that.
Yeah. Another niche one. Coleraine, Ohio has a sewage plant right there, and it's like when you can smell it through the car window, like your windows are up and you can still smell it.
Oh, New Jersey.
Just in general, yeah.
Just like when you're on the New Jersey Turnpike and you're passing the oil refineries and factories, and you just like if you're on a road trip and you fall asleep. One time I just woke up and I just knew I was in Jersey.
The chemical treatment plants and shit.
And you're just like, oh fuck, we got to Jersey.
Yeah, the towns and cities in Jersey don't really have much of a smell, but when you get out on the turnpike, it hits you.
And that's why Jersey gets the bad rap. I love Jersey.
People that pass through Jersey, that's all they see.
I'm not gonna shit on Jersey. There's like beautiful parts of Jersey. The turnpike, I actually love driving on the turnpike. It's like, you know, it's a great highway. Speaking of interstate planning, but the smell. If you're like accustomed to it, and it's kind of like when you smell a skunk when you're driving, and you're kind of like, oh, like that's a skunk, but it's like, oh, that's like New Jersey.
Yeah. Is there anything cooler than being on a road trip and being the first person in the car to be like skunk?
Yeah, I love the smell of skunk. It just reminds me of summer. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Weed.
Yeah, that's like the weed smell.
Yeah, but like originally, like when I was like 5, I was like, oh man, skunks are out. Summer.
Skunks are crazy animals.
Dude.
They look cool. Skunks get a bad rap because of the smell thing. They look awesome, but maybe my favorite part of a skunk is just the fact that they basically just spray a fart on you if they feel like they're being attacked.
But you know how they do it? They fucking stand on their front 2 legs.
They do like a handstand?
Yeah, dude.
They get in pile driver pose and just fart on you?
I knew a dude who had a de-glanded skunk as a pet.
Were they nice?
It was like a ferret temperament.
Well,
where it's like,
what's cool. A ferret temperament?
Like ferrets like, you know, ferrets are either gonna like fuck you up if they don't like you, or they're gonna chill with you if they're cool with you. So like skunk had the same vibe. Like if you like ferrets are only nice to the people who feed them.
Yeah.
To everybody else, you're like, get the fuck away from my cage.
Can I give you guys a quick tip? I actually used this in college one time, so hopefully somebody else can. Hopefully, I'll pay it forward. JMU had a skunk problem on campus. Maybe not a problem, but there was a significant skunk population in town. Finals week was coming up. I forgot about one of my tests, and I emailed my professor that I got sprayed by a skunk and can't come to class.
Did it work?
It absolutely worked. Because what are they going to do? Like, well, come in and let me smell you real quick and see if you're lying or not. I was like, I got to go get all this tomato juice from Walmart and then take a bath in it. I'm not going to be able to make it in. Maybe my all-time best excuse. Billy, you should
That's huge.
File that one away. Yeah, I hope somebody out there takes my advice. If you have a test that you haven't studied for, if you have anything sprayed by a skunk, it works. It plays.
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever been sprayed by a skunk? That seems like a you thing.
Actually, no.
Or Whitey.
No. We had a squirrel that lived in the football house senior year. Like that squirrel was like ridiculous.
Squirrel's seen some shit.
No, that squirrel was like a criminal. It'd break in places and just like literally be in the kitchen, and you couldn't do shit to catch the squirrel, and it was actually wrecking shit.
That's awesome. Did you name it?
I forget what they called it, but that was when I was just going up to visit because I was working at the same time.
Yeah,
but
that rocks.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that does it for nanodosing.
Wait,
I once killed a bunch of trash pandas.
Raccoons?
Yeah.
Raccoons are cute.
Yeah, they were encroaching too far at my mom's house, and they were like going after my mom's cats and Whitey when he was a little puppy at the time, and they were just breaking into trash, breaking into anything. So like I just camped out one night by the trash cans.
Nice.
And
just murked them.
Just had to do what had to be done.
Did you see what Billy McFarland said about you?
I don't want to give him any platform because like he's such a fucking. What do you say?
So Billy Football sent a tweet in our group chat of Billy McFarland boxing, and some guy responded, "I can see why you're afraid of Billy Football." At Rough and Rowdy, Billy McFarland goes 2 leg kicks and he pulls a Conseco.
Yeah, what a
bro! You gotta fight him.
No, I don't understand. Like, we had the perfect opportunity to just train for 3 weeks for a fight, and he's now training for. I don't even want to put this in because I don't want to give him any fucking views.
He's training for life. That's
No,
just
he's
his
training for
lifestyle,
bully.
dog.
I think he's actually doing MTV Bully Beatdown, where he hops in a ring. Meanwhile, it turns out the guy had like actual MMA experience, so it wasn't like he was as unmatched as he made it sound like.
Yeah, but it was
And
gonna be
he's-
boxing.
Yeah, but like boxing and MMA is like sprinting compared to football. Like it's something that's integral to like the sport. So if you don't have any boxing technique, and it's not like yes, I've boxed before, but I'm nowhere close to like a gold glove level boxer, which isn't even like below amateur. Like
He should have fought you.
like
He
it's
looked
just
weak.
so stupid.
He looks
looked
weak.
weak.
You would have beat the shit out of him. And Billy is probably in prison as you're listening to this.
Look, am I the only one who just thinks that jailing political dissidents is like totally a Russia move?
Let's talk this through
What?
because that sentence requires a lot of unpacking. Number one, who was the last president of Russia to be thrown in jail?
No, political opponents.
You said dissidents.
Yeah, didn't the guy that ran against Putin get put in jail?
I'm sure that probably happened.
Yeah, well, actually,
We're considering Donald Trump a political dissident? That's what he's known to be.
I'd say he's a disruptor.
Yeah, he is. So he's apparently going to get arrested today. I don't know if they're going to perp walk him or if are they going to like take a mugshot of him?
I hope that the thing is,
A mugshot of Donald Trump within 15 minutes. Half of Twitter is going to have that as their avatar.
but you understand that, like, I don't know who's like doing all this, but this is like the best thing for his cause.
I don't know if it is necessarily. Like, I think it's.
Dude, you put mugshots are too fucking cool, bro.
That's right. I agree with
the
that.
Frank Sinatra mugshot T-shirt is like fucking cool. Like,
Yeah, agreed.
like mugshots, kind of cool,
Agreed.
kind of badass.
But do you think that would actually help him? Like, realistically, you think it's going to be better and easier for him to win the presidency a second time if he is under indictment and like arrest and standing trial?
there's a lot of people who look up to people who are victims of the system. And if you got Donald Trump doing a perp walk, that's gonna be fucking.
Yeah,
they're gonna make an absolute clown show, like a circus out of it.
I just
Why
don't know
would
if
you do
you.
that?
I just don't know if you have like 85 million people that would like that. Sure, there are a lot of people that would like it.
Well, there was 85 million people who, I mean, this is like out of anything is like a white collar crime is like probably one of the least bad things that Donald Trump's been
That's a
accused
good
of.
question. Like, is it a white collar crime or is it like it's a? He's accused of paying off a porn star, which is it's a hilarious thing to get charged with a crime for. But I think it's technically like a campaign finance thing, right? So he paid her from his campaign funds, and then he paid himself back from his. I don't know the details of it, but basically, yeah, it's a financial crime that he's accused of, financial election crime that he's accused of. So I don't know. Yeah, of all the things that you could pin this guy down for, it does kind of rock that you're getting charged with a crime for fucking a porn star. That's pretty cool. If you had to ask me, like, what crime would you want to be charged with? Oh, sorry for getting laid, Your Honor.
It's too fucking cool.
Your Honor, I plead guilty to being horny as fuck.
I mean, I don't know. Also,
Billy, it sounds like you've been reading some dark corners of the internet, because I understand the sentiment that it's not like a big crime that he's accused of, and it's going to be a salacious trial, and it's going to be a big media spectacle. But realistically, I don't think that it helps him get elected again.
I think it brings him back into the national consciousness.
And Trump was always in the national consciousness.
He hasn't been for a while. Like this is the biggest news.
What do you
since he
consider?
renounced
What do you
his
consider national consciousness?
I think Trump has definitely been out of the national consciousness since January 6th.
That's not what I asked. That's not what I asked. I asked.
He's the
what
most
do you
talked about
consider-
person in America.
What do you consider the national consciousness?
Realistically, my brain. He hasn't been.
Okay.
Realistically, am I
Yeah.
seeing him on CNN all the time? Am I seeing him on Twitter? Am I seeing him on the internet? I'm seeing like a little of him, but like he's like, I just remember like I haven't been.
And what Billy says by am I seeing him on CNN, he means like, are people that I follow on the internet posting clips of CNN talking about him?
Yeah, and it hasn't been.
I mean,
but compared to where he was in his presidency, it's been.
That's because he was the president.
It's the president.
Yeah. So this is, I mean, like, since the election, since everything, I mean,
I don't think it's going to help him get elected. It's definitely going to make a lot of.
You can't deny that there wasn't after January 6th a concerted effort to sort of try to like not cause the media circus around Donald Trump so that he wouldn't get like, you know, no news is bad news type thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like no press is bad press. So like, all press is good press. So they kind of picked up on that and they just stopped talking about him.
I don't think anyone stopped talking about Trump. I also think that people in Trump's circle have been trying to get Trump to not make as much news, hopefully, as possible. There's always going to be people around Trump that are like, dude, you need to just cool it down. Please let me do my job. Don't make a big circus out of this. And then Trump, he loves, you know, he's great at stealing the spotlight and getting attention for himself. That's why he became who he is.
Bro, he went on Nelk Boys. He was so desperate for press. Like, come on.
He's not desperate for press.
I don't think
that's one of the biggest shows in America.
Yeah, I think
I know, but like
it
didn't get that much like acclaim. It wasn't like
because it got taken down off YouTube after like 12 hours.
I'm right.
How are you? How does that make you right?
that there's been a concerted effort to like keep him out of the news.
It wasn't about keeping Trump out of the news. YouTube said that they were going to take down videos that had any sort of like, if you even brushed with election denial, they were going to take it down. It wasn't that Trump was on there. It was that he was talking about the election being rigged.
So they took him out of the national conscious because he was promoting that type of message.
Now
he's back in the news.
Trump has been.
I think you're arguing two different things.
Yeah.
There is something different between like there is an effort to silence some things he has said versus he is in the national conversation. He's the most talked about person in America still.
I don't think there's anybody out there that's just like they're going to tune into the news today and be like, who's this Trump guy that they're arresting?
I'm just saying you have
Forgot about this.
I like the cut of that guy's jib. You know what? I'm gonna look him up on Wikipedia. See what he's all about.
No, but because of his message, they've been definitely not giving him the platform that he used to have.
Yeah.
Even before he was president. Like
I was gonna say because he's not the president anymore.
Right, but I think now, like, I don't understand why he's gonna get arrested. It's gonna be a whole big thing.
Billy's definitely going down to Manhattan Correctional Center trying to bail him out.
Joke. I'm not gonna try. That was
Billy,
that was a bit. I'm not actually gonna go down there. I'm not an idiot.
You should actually put on a war correspondent uniform with the vest, the helmet, big sign that says journalist, and go down there and cover it.
I would actually love to do that. If it wasn't, if it was like, if it wouldn't be taken the wrong way, I actually would do that. But if I go down there, everyone's gonna be like, Billy's a proud boy, which is
no, not if you're wearing a journalist. If you're clearly marked as being a journalist,
if you have credentials.
I don't have credentials.
You can make yourself credentials.
I just sent in on the street. Also, I think owning a flak jacket's illegal in New York if you're not.
I didn't say flak jacket, just a vest. Journalists always have vests.
Yeah.
Wear a vest, put on a helmet, go down there, cover the event.
I would.
But
I have to record part of my take tomorrow.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What time is that?
We have a interview at 10 a.m.
Yeah,
and then we have another one at 3 to 4. So I think in between there, we're recording.
I think you'd be
better used down.
Yes.
Actually, no. I don't want to get anywhere near that because then like it goes from being a bit to Billy's actually going down to protests and being a proud boy.
You would be covering it as a journalist.
Anyway, moving on.
So yeah, Trump's getting arrested today.
I'm calling it right now, and this is Monday. It's gonna be, if we got Trump with certain visuals, it's gonna be everywhere. It's gonna get shared, and it's gonna bring him back to the viral status that he was. That everyone's been trying to keep him away from.
You know, he's on Twitter. He got let back on Twitter. He just doesn't want to post there because he's trying to build.
I know,
truth.
but like other people are gonna be posting it. Like it's gonna hit Twitter, and it's gonna be a thing.
I think every day I see one of Trump's truths or whatever the fuck he Kmart tweets. Every day I see somebody screenshotting his shit. He's always being talked about. He's the president. Like if any president does any, huh?
Do you still believe he's the president?
Was the president. He was the president. If any former president does anything, it's going to be in the national news. Like it just is what it is. But he never left. Like I think PFT's right. I think there's a split in the Republican Party now, and like I think people want more a safe bet, which is wild, but to say that.
DeSantis, yeah.
Yeah, DeSantis is more of a safe bet than Trump, just because he aligns with more of the moderate feel.
I mean, I don't understand how, people who want Trump to go away and like actually believe that he's, terrible for democracy, why they don't start like promoting DeSantis, because it'll split the vote and then the Democrats will just have an easy, because Trump will run as an independent and they'll have a who's the guy?
They are promoting DeSantis. More so than Trump. I think if you asked a lot of like Democrats on CNN, MSNBC, who they would rather have as president, they would all tell you DeSantis. Mm-hmm. Now their producers and the owners of CNN and MSNBC would probably say DeSantis, but then secretly want Trump to be president because that's good for ratings.
I don't think that's the main profit driver of those networks.
Ratings?
No, like realistically, like I don't think they're as click heavy. I think they're more paid for their influence by other special interest groups.
Go on.
Like CNN's ratings has been terrible since
that's what I'm saying. Since Trump,
so they want him back.
They want Trump.
I don't think the top down wants Trump back.
Is this your way of saying like George Soros pays CNN and tells them what to?
More probably like Pfizer and like groups that want to like sway the public different ways.
Those are advertisers.
Pfizer. Right. Oh shit.
I mean, Pfizer gave $3.8 billion to CNN. That's like recorded.
Gave it to them?
Yeah, I think it was a donation.
Okay, let's look this up. Pfizer donation to CNN.
I'm not getting in no more vax or mass talks with you motherfuckers, dog. So I'm not taking this bait. Not taking this bait.
Okay,
I just want to look this up. Billy, where you said how many $1 billion?
Let me find it.
Okay.
He said 3.8.
$3.8 billion. Pfizer just okay.
Let me find it.
Okay.
Why can't
you know when Billy starts doing the some fire's about to drop?
No, but I don't think they're not like us, Barstool Sports, that trying to drive engagement. I don't think that's their model.
It's the entire model.
I know, but I think that they're already established enough where they're just pay to play from whoever wants to get them to sway their opinion.
You're describing advertising.
Yeah, I am.
You're perfectly describing advertising. So if a place has
that the people who advertise with them want them pumping Trump 24/7 like they used to, and basically got him elected. You do come on.
I'm very confused.
Okay.
So you're saying the CNN is not driven by rating; it's driven by dark money interest groups.
They're not a sensationalist. Not a dark. No one said dark. I don't think sensationalism drives CNN like it does like our model.
I'm not talking about sensationalism. Trump
is sensationalism.
He is, but not like in the way that you're talking about. Trump is just kind of must-see TV for a lot of people because he causes a little bit of chaos. He is funny at times, and he's entertaining. So that's why people tune in and watch him. It's very easy to see, like, yes, Trump's president, CNN's going to do better ratings as opposed to having Ron DeSantis as president. Right? I don't think that's unfair to say. Like, Trump will probably do way better ratings for CNN than DeSantis would. And then when CNN's ratings do better, then they charge more money for advertising from companies who want to pay them to play their ads in order to influence people to buy their products. So that's you accurately described how advertising works.
I don't think sensationalism is what's driving CNN's content.
What is?
I think they're trying to like detract from that and actually get a little more like. I think they're more aligned with what their sponsors want them to put out and pay them to put out than actually trying to get people to watch and get people like, they're not driving like clicks and eyeballs the same way that like Barstool Sports does, which is trying to like put like sensationalism, clickbait articles, and like the content.
How are they trying to attract eyes?
I can't decide if this take is really far right or really far left.
It's totally down the middle, and you guys are like so like.
I honestly don't know what you're saying.
But you guys want to disagree with me?
No,
because
I don't
think what I'm saying is far right.
I know.
That's why it's so fucking
I
annoying.
think it might be far left.
Yes. So you guys are just fucking idiots.
I honestly have no idea what you're saying. Just Billy, can I give you some advice? Just say what you want to say because
I'm saying what I
there's
want to
something
say.
there's
Their
something that you're
content-
dancing around that I don't know what it
I'm
is.
not dancing around anything. I just
Just say
don't
it.
think that
Just say it.
their models that they want to pump Trump and pump all of Trump's antics and have him doing perk walks and having getting mud shots done. Like, I don't think that was like what they want to put out on their television. I think that they're more aligned with what their advertisers want. And even if what they put out isn't doing well ratings wise, they're still getting money from the advertisers and dictating what they want. So it's all fine.
Can you give me
Okay.
Can you give me an elevator pitch of what you're trying to say? Like short, like just put it, zip file that shit and say it.
Zip file.
They're already at a point, CNN and like these large corporations, Fox as well. I think Fox also operates on the same model where, you know,
They're doing 24 hours of pillow programming.
right, because I mean, like their advertisers lean a certain way, and
this
they
is your
just
elevator
their
pitch.
advertisers are just dictating what they're saying. Like, for example, you know, we like they're not going to totally switch up. They're not going to want Trump just because they get to, like, their ratings will go up because of Trump. I think they actually have like groups that don't want that type of content, and they will keep paying them to just promote, like, you know.
Can you just tell me like what an example of that is? Like the content that they're putting out for their sponsors.
Let's look at CNN's top advertisers.
Okay.
So-
did you find
so-
the
so
did you find the $3 billion that was given to them?
So you're saying that
Here's the
CNN
biggest
is,
advertisers, Fox News.
Hold on, Billy. You're saying I was just trying to paraphrase what you're saying. You're saying that CNN is no longer driven by the content game and engagement and clicks. They're driven by their advertisers and their donors, and they're saying you do the content that we say and not what drives clicks. That's what you're saying.
That aligns with our values and doesn't, you know, go over the top and start, you know, causing stuff that they don't want to happen. So here's the top brands on Fox News. Oh, this is a 2018.
It's like I had him and then he lost.
Okay.
Me, you know what I'm saying? He said like 7 words that I just don't understand.
So, Fox News. So this is February 2018. Might not reflect the current environment, but Nutrisystem had a $1.9 million ad deal with Fox News. Their top advertiser.
Million or billion?
Million. Nutrisystem
Yeah.
probably would
It's
want.
not that much money.
Well, it's 2018.
Okay. Before
Nutrisystem.
inflation. Got it.
Inflation.
All right.
Nutrisystem probably wants them to put out content that is, you know, health and lifestyle, like promoting new diets, promoting new stuff, so that when the Nutrisystem ad comes on, people are like, oh, because think about it, like Fox News does have a lot of like health and wellness, like specials and like.
Are
stuff
you
where, like, they
saying-
have guys like Dr. Oz on, and you know they're doing that, so that might not drive. You know, oh, you're not going to be like, oh, I want to go watch Dr. Oz talk about health. But the people who are watching who say, oh, maybe I should go on a diet, Nutrisystem ad comes on and they're like, oh, let me go use Nutrisystem.
Are you saying this is how? I mean, you're describing advertising in a sense, but I
But
think
it's not.
you're
It's not
tying it
driven
to-
by sense. It's not driven by the sensationalism. It's driven by what content is going to directly give the advertisers the most bang for their buck.
He's describing advertorials in a way. You know those like
Yeah.
little sections in a magazine where you start reading it and you think it's an article, and after like a paragraph you're like, wait a second, this page looks a little bit differently formatted from the rest of the magazine I was just reading. Aha,
it's
it's an ad.
Yeah.
So you're saying okay, so
They're not getting paid per eyeball, per click, they're getting paid to create content that will make people use the
want
product.
to use their product.
So, like,
I
for
don't
example,
think that's not how
Nutrisystem
that
doesn't
works,
want
though,
Trump
bro.
24/7, like, you know, going off about election denial, because when the Nutrisystem ad goes on, you're not going to be anywhere inspired to go on a diet because Donald Trump's denying the election.
Bro, this is not. Listen, fam. That's not how this works.
I think when you're at when you're a company like CNN and you already have as widespread, you know, you're gonna get a certain amount of viewers no matter what. That
Their viewers have been going down though. They've been having to like fire people.
I know, but it's still going to be a large enough amount, like
They
a large enough
changed-
people.
So
and
are
they're
you-
an established, they're an established media
Hold
brand
on.
already, where there's not like they're going to go kaput overnight.
Are you
It's almost like they're too
saying-
big to fail in certain ways, and their advertiser money and all the groups that pay them are going to keep them in business no matter what.
Are you saying that they would not want to report on things that would be upsetting to their audience?
No, I'm saying that they wouldn't want to report on something that would not be as effective as getting people to use their advertisers' products or,
But like it's not an infomercial channel. Like they're reporting the news. They report whatever happens.
right.
With
but
an
it's-
editorial
yeah, and
slant.
there's sprinkled, but throughout there's like, and I'm not just talking about late night television, Dateline stuff, like CNN like has morning shows but like where they have, different, like we're going to use Nutrisystem as an example, where they have people come on and talk about new diets, new exercise plans, different types of things, because that's just the type of stuff that once Nutrisystem comes on for the commercial break, they're like, oh yeah, they're talking about making a change in my life. Okay, let's go to Nutrisystem.
Well, that's just like what they paid for.
exactly.
You're just describing advertising.
I'm describing that it's not
he's
sensationalism,
describing
that they're
influenced content. So he's saying
Yes.
that CNN is not reporting on the news. They're reporting on the news with a bias that leans towards their advertiser dollars. But
exactly,
but
it
it's not
might
necessarily
be-
true, because like if like CNN had to change their model because they were losing, like they took such a bad PR hit because Trump was on a bumper so much that they stopped just having people who are of the left on there. So they have very moderate and some right-leaning hosts and right-leaning people on their programs now. And so it's not not cut and dry like you're saying. Like I just don't have you ever watched CNN? Like honestly.
Yes.
Like
I
not
mean,
the
CNN
not the clips, my G. Like have you ever watched
No,
the program?
like yes.
And
100%.
you see they're just saying whatever the advertisers want them to say. I don't understand.
No, I do think that they report on the news, but I think most of their content direction is derived to ensure that like their sponsors are happy.
So the premise behind this was that they're not talking about Trump at all, but they're talking about Trump all day.
Also, the cost of their advertising goes up if their ratings go up,
Right.
which Trump being president would make happen, certainly.
That was PFT's initial point.
I don't think that's what drives their business model.
But it would make them more money. They could keep the existing business model, but also if their ratings were better, they could charge more money.
Yeah,
for it.
what you're essentially positing, Billy, is that the advertisers don't give a shit about money coming back to them.
Right.
Yeah.
No, the advertisers want money coming back to them
But they're not going to get as much money coming back to them if the ratings aren't as high.
but if the content is more directed to a way that it causes more of the people that are watching, the larger percentage of people to actually carry through and get the product.
A more successful ad campaign.
Right.
But also they would get even more money if there were more people watching with the still successful ad campaign. Have you found the $3.8 billion
I'm looking
yet?
for it right now
Okay.
while trying to defend my points at the same time.
No, I'm just curious. I honestly, I had not heard that, so I would be interested to know that.
I don't
if
know if
Pfizer gave CNN a $3 billion gift.
I don't know if
I would.
that's true or not, but
Let me find it.
I don't know. I think CNN has changed horses for sure. But I think they're just like anybody. Like sure, they may have like segments that acquiesce to their donors and their.
I will. Yeah,
Go ahead.
I'll say that if they did give $3 billion to CNN, that is a giant waste of money. Like considering what CNN's ratings are and what their reach is, a $3 billion. There's
some
if
YouTube
you know
channels
anything
that
about-
have more reach than them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. If you know anything about modern media like that, whoever is in charge of their vice president of media purchasing or acquisition or whatever, they should be fired for that. That's a bad use of $3 billion. My personal
It could be
opinion.
true. I don't know. I haven't looked into it.
Pfizer. Okay, this is the Pfizer in total spent 3.8 billion in media advertisements.
Okay.
2.8, and then how much of
So
that
was it-
went
wait,
to CNN?
Just first of all, we've established this was not a gift.
It was advertising.
It's advertising.
And the amount that went to CNN was
I like that.
500.
I like that Billy's discovering in real time how like big pharma advertising works. Wait till you hear about the fact that big pharma hires all the most attractive women in America and then gives them a clothing allowance of like $100,000 a year and tells them to go to doctors' offices and charm the
Yes,
doctors
that's how
into
the
having
opioid.
lunch with
That's
them.
how the opioid epidemic.
Yeah. Well,
occurred.
even before that,
overprescription.
there's been going back 10s, 20, 30, 40 years. That's how big pharma has worked.
I think I've said this on this show before, but I think, is that illegal now? Like they can't do it, or they can't do it as much.
There's certain things. There are tighter restrictions, but
They went hard
But
on opioids.
when I was a kid, my mom's a nurse, so she worked in a doctor's office, and in the summers, I would sometimes go to work with her, and they'd pay me a penny to open Band-Aids. So I'd open like 500 Band-Aids in a day and get $5. And the drug reps would bring in just these sick, incredible lunches.
yeah,
And those guys were the best.
yeah. They like take you out to gourmet meals. They take you on vacations. It's, you know what they do. So here's the baseline big pharma business model. You hire either the most attractive women that you can find right out of college, and then you train them and you give them all the most fashionable clothes, big makeup allowance, and tell them to go charm these old doctors. Or you hire former college athletes that are celebrities in certain parts of the country, and then you say, okay, go and talk to these doctors about these products that we're pushing, because they'll talk to you. You've got name recognition. Then they make a shitload of money. So big pharma, they're dirty dogs. They're dirty dogs. So, of course, like having a $3 billion budget or whatever for advertising for a company as big as Pfizer, not that surprising to me.
Did you find out how much they gave CNN?
I'm looking. But I think people are getting tired of this talk, so we can move on.
How you going to tell them what they tired of?
You started this entire thing, and
Yeah.
we've been trying to get to the bottom of it.
That just means you found out how much they gave CNN. and
No, I
it's not that
didn't,
much.
and I can't
Okay,
find
okay,
it, and I
alright.
don't want to just be sitting on this.
Got you. No worries. I watched.
But I think that ratings doesn't drive the majority of their content.
Is your entire premise on this that CNN has become just a mouthpiece for Pfizer?
No.
that's
My premise
1,000%
on this,
it
like for example, Fox News, I think.
Because if that's the case, like I'll hear that argument.
No, but I think for example, Fox News is most of their advertisers are more the My Pillow guy, like buy the Patriot pillow, like this is like, you know, this is a pillow for Americans who don't trust the government.
But
And
what you're saying is driven by ratings. Those are the people who are watching those shows.
right in the content makes you want to buy the America pillow
really.
because you
It's like,
identify
okay,
as
so one of my homegirls has a podcast, right? And one of her advertisers, hear me out. One of her advertisers is Michelle Obama, right? We will never get that ad money, because that is not our demographic. That is not what we talk about. That is not our vibe. You know what I'm saying? We get 3G, right? Because that's the kind of podcast we're. But you're putting the cart before the horse. So what you're saying is they're driving the content, but no, the content is made and that has a demographic, and the advertisers go to those places and say, this is where most likely our product will sell more. You're just doing it in reverse.
You have the cause and effect switched.
No, exactly.
But Billy
the thing is,
thinks
I think they've
Billy
gone to
thinks
the
it
point
flipped.
by using, it's flipped because now they're just more appeasing their advertisers than trying to do sensationalism Trump, because that's what they did all in 2015, 2016.
And they made a ton of money.
And they made Trump the president. That's literally what happened.
No, I mean, I'm talking 2016 through 2020. All they did was Trump. The ratings were high.
Right.
And they made a lot of money while he was president.
And I think there's been a concerted effort to be like, okay, let's actually get rid of Trump by not sensationalizing him as much. And I think that the advertisers resonated with that when they were like, we can't basically have you doing this again in the 2024 cycle.
Okay.
And like, in actually getting him reelected, because I think it did damage like what their advertisers actually believed in.
So
I think Billy might not be that far off with the point that maybe some advertisers, they don't want their products being sold next to constant Trump coverage.
Exactly.
Because Trump being on TV makes a lot of CNN viewers angry when they see him. They watch, and they're going to continue to watch, but they're not in a purchasing mood when it's 24/7 Trump coverage.
I'm not buying that shit. So
yes, that's exactly what I'm saying.
What you're saying is advertisers are willing to throw away money for their political beliefs.
But they're
That's what
not
you're
throwing
saying.
away money. Like,
Yes,
for
they
example,
are.
they're not, because I think they weren't seeing that the constant Trump angry coverage was getting the eyeballs, but it wasn't exactly inspiring people to then go use the products.
Where's the data on that?
I mean, that could be a valid point. There's no data,
so,
but it could be. I could see that being true.
So Rachel Maddow, top 10 brands on Rachel Maddow as of 2018. Smile Direct Club, Wayfair, Vistaprint, Sleep Number, I don't think that those places were like Rachel Maddow talking about the tax returns, her doing all this sensationalist stuff that got people to tune in. I don't think that there was a direct inspiration for people to go to Smile Direct Club and get a new fucking, I don't even know what Smile Direct does. I think it's like a mail order.
Does
orthodontist.
talking about
This is a
Biden
guess.
instead of Trump make people want to go to Smile Direct Club?
I think the differentiation of the content might.
Tulsi would make me want to go to Smile Direct Club. Never mind.
Bonk.
Never mind.
But that's what I'm saying. Like,
No,
I don't think it was reflecting in the actual, like, so for example, we use codes, right? Like when we have advertisers, we use codes, and you can see a direct, like how many people who are watching this, listening to this podcast, then go and buy the product. So you can track that data.
Yeah.
I don't think they were getting the same percentage of return on the audience who was getting angry at Trump coverage going to use their products.
Okay, counterpoint to this. And Billy, I'm not Billy, wait, you're about to say something. Don't say it. I can see your tongue. You don't say it. I'm going to give you a counterpoint. I'm not saying I totally disagree with you about what your larger point is. But in direct opposition to this, you would think that if Pfizer was a giant advertiser at CNN, having massive ratings that are centered around Trump all the time would actually, and Trump doing ridiculous things, would actually drive more people to go out and get a Pfizer vaccine, right? Because the people that are watching are so mad at Trump that they're like, you know what? I don't like this Republican stuff. I don't like the anti-vax stuff that I'm seeing whispered about in certain circles of the GOP. I'm so mad. I'm going to, you know what? I'll show them. I'll go out and get 6 vaccines. You make fun of those people all the time. The people who watch CNN get scared and go out there and just get vaxxed up and sit in a car by themselves with a mask on. You make fun of those people, Billy. It seems to me like that would be a great return on investment.
Also,
It would, but guess what? Trump was out there saying to take the vaccine.
He was the Trump vax, yeah.
So honestly, that would probably hurt their advertising.
okay, but Billy, your point about CNN is too big to fail. If they have high ratings, they don't care who buys those advertising slots. Someone will buy them when their ratings go up. So their content is moderated by what will get us the highest ratings to sell these blocks of advertising. They don't care who buys them.
Okay, Billy, if you're correct, why did CNN switch their game plan up, where they have more moderate to left and moderate and right leaning hosts and stuff now? Like, why did they switch that up?
For exactly what I was saying, because the content they were creating wasn't valid anymore, and it wasn't having the returns on their advertisers that they expected.
But if this is, I don't understand why you have it reversed in your head. If it's not
Because
about
they were already getting the ratings before.
because it's not, you're saying it's not about the content. So if it's not about the content, then it's about the advertisers and what. Okay, hold on. So you're saying it's about the advertisers and what they want to see, and has nothing to do with the content.
I think it's about the curation, because they had all
The curation
this
of what? The curation of what?
They had all this viewership for a long time.
The curation of what?
2016 to 2020, the curation of the content that they're putting out.
So wait,
that
it
now-
is about the content?
Yes, to appease the people who are giving them the big checks and who are continuing to give them the big checks from all the times they've had crazy ratings to now.
So they don't
So
care.
then why-
They don't care about they don't care about how many people are viewing the content. They just care about what the content is being produced.
They're caring about how many people who are viewing the content actually start using the products.
Okay, where are you? Okay, this is the jump.
CNN does not care about that at all.
Well,
The
that's-
advertisers do.
well, I'm curious.
Who
Hold on,
pay
hold on.
CNN,
Hold on,
so
hold on.
thus
I'm walking
CNN
to
cares
it.
about
Hold on,
what the
I'm walking to it.
advertisers
I'm walking
want.
to it. Hold on, Billy. Where? Show me where you're making the jump from. That they care about the people who are watching it and how many people are watching it, and they care about how many the percentage of people that are buying their product. Where did you make that jump? How did you come to that conclusion that that's the reason why they switched?
because I don't think there was
No.
the conversion from the viewership to.
But I know. So
adver-
I know.
to
That's what you
pay-
think. I know that's what you think. But
Okay,
how
so-
did you
so
come to that
Arian,
conclusion?
Arian, watch this. You're CNN,
Okay.
right? I'm an advertiser.
Okay.
What are you selling?
I'm selling
Frog juice.
frog juice.
Just frogs. We'll make it simple.
Just
Frogs.
and frogs that sing. So it's like
You have the WB frog.
it's like yeah,
you've
white
captured.
noise.
You've captured him.
It's a white noise frog, and the frog lives and sings to you to sleep, and it's a sleep product. Okay.
I think Billy's given some thought to that one before.
Yeah.
Yeah. Specially trained frogs. It's white noise. So you're CNN and you're putting out certain type of content. The content's getting ratings, but even though there was a large spike in the ratings because of the content you're putting out, it started to get old and starting to have negative externalities in the whole world, right? And is now controversial. Like your content is having negative externalities by, giving a platform to something that is now like
To big cricket.
the hits don't
Gotcha.
play.
Big cricket.
The hits
Okay.
aren't playing anymore because the R. Kelly songs aren't doing as well because, he got arrested and he's in jail now.
Got you.
So I'm the advertiser.
Mhm.
Hey, can you stop playing R. Kelly? Because when people are hearing the R. Kelly music, they're not exactly buying my frogs to put them to sleep. They're just thinking about how R. Kelly's, a pedophile and we shouldn't even though people are still listening to the R. Kelly songs, those types of people aren't the type of people who are buying my sleepy frogs.
Okay, I have 2 questions for you.
Okay.
So, and I think this should boil down to the end of it. So, if that's the case, Trump was hated by a large portion of the country while he
Right.
was president. So, if that's the case, why didn't their coverage change while he was president? And 2, do you think that by this hypothesis that if he became president again, CNN would intentionally cover Trump less?
I think the hope is that he doesn't get to that point by
But that's
ensuring
that's
that,
not what I asked.
Answer the
that
question.
not giving so repeat your first question.
Why didn't they start doing that while he was president? Because he was very
now let me
polarizing while he
answer
was
that.
president.
Because they didn't stop doing that while he was president because January 6th didn't happen, the election denial didn't start, and their advertisers weren't like, hey, can you stop giving this guy who's just talking about how the election was rigged a platform?
But Trump was reviled by a large portion of the country the entire time he was president.
Right, but the hits were playing, the R. Kelly songs were good, people kept listening. It wasn't until the damning thing came out where people had to be like, wait, we kind of, it's a little too Trump heavy, it's not really translating.
In Billy's defense, I think that that January 6th, it was kind of a flashpoint where CNN and a lot of other big media corporations were like, well, we need to do whatever it takes to make sure that this guy's not president because he's trying to overthrow our democracy.
Exactly.
That was like the line in the sand for a lot of
Okay,
a lot of
so
companies.
then he becomes president
That's
again.
when ratings start to not matter, and advertisers will keep paying you if you don't, even if it doesn't convert.
And I'm gonna keep backing Billy up because in their minds, if they keep platforming this guy, then it makes the entire country unstable, and then people will have less money, most likely in an environment of instability. They're not going to buy as many products.
I'm sure there are some people at the top of CNN who have that view, but I'm asking, so if he becomes president again, will they cover him less? The president of the United States.
Well, I think that hypothetical is something that we're going to yet to see. I don't have the answer to that now.
But
I just have a
you
theory
would
on
have
why
to say
the
yes.
change in content and the curation of content has happened.
But you would have to say yes to that.
I think they'd cover him, but I don't think they'd cause the sensational circus around him that led us to a point like January 6th and led a lot of people to start being like, Trump content isn't that good anymore because, kind of did the whole, January 6th thing, treason. Like it was definitely, it's like the same way where if you listen to R. Kelly songs now, you're kind of not like, oh, love this R. Kelly song. Totally going to forget about what happened.
I can
That's
promise
absolutely
you.
incorrect.
It will be with a negative slant. They will not be happy about it, but the first Republican debate that Trump is in will be a media circus unlike anything you've ever seen in your life.
I think if you had a radio channel that just kept playing R. Kelly, that
Those
advertisers
are not
would be
the
like,
same.
Right now, R.
it's
Kelly
doing
Spotify,
ratings.
R.
It's doing
Kelly
ratings.
Spotify monthly listeners is 4 million. He is still getting plays, and he will continue to get plays, bruh.
Right. He's going to get plays on Spotify.
He
can
plays
choose,
everywhere.
Where you can choose the content you get, but if you're a large radio station, you're not just going to keep playing. You're not going to,
I think CNN needs to separate the art from the artist.
I think they can't, and that's why they're not going to put on Trump content. And then what my main point is why the hell are they giving Trump a platform and controversy? It's going to end up.
It's not because you're thinking about content creation versus news network, and you're trying to parse them. You're trying to separate them. They cannot be separated. Family. If Trump gets arrested on Tuesday today, if Trump gets arrested and CNN is the only news network that does not cover it, their ratings are going to plummet, not skyrocket. And if you think that makes advertisers happy, you just don't know how this economy works.
All right, I'm gonna jump in and tie this up real quick because we've been talking about it for a while. CNN's definitely going to cover Trump getting arrested. 1,000,000%.
Right.
It's going to be all over. It's going to be the biggest story tomorrow. It's already all over CNN right now. So we can. I think
my main point was, why the hell are they arresting him? It's going to end up him being in a media circus and him actually gaining more.
I think they're arresting
popularity.
him because he broke the law.
But the thing is, this thing that they're going after him for is something that gets overlooked all the time in other parts of the country.
I think they've been working on this for years. That's what I think. I think that this case has taken a long time to put together. Now, granted, it is kind of a rinky-dink charge to be charging somebody for this. It's not. You could look at all the stuff that Trump has allegedly done, and this is like a blip on the radar. He fucked a porn star, and then he paid her for it. Okay.
I'm just saying, if you really want, if you're the same type of person who wants to put Donald Trump in jail, and want him to go away and not be president, I don't know why the hell you'd be going after him like this.
All I'm saying. And this ties back with the point I made, I think a year ago on this show. Everybody who's president should go directly to jail after they leave the office.
Yeah.
Everyone, except for Jimmy Carter. He's cool. But
his time is.
No, he's still with us. He's still with us.
Last point I want to make, Arian, is that it's not what you said. I need to figure out the difference between news and content creation.
No, I didn't.
That's
say
what
that.
exactly
No,
what I'm saying.
I said you're trying to sort them out in the different, you're trying to parse
because
them
they
apart.
are different.
One
content creation is trying to get as many people to enjoy the content and consume the content. I think that CNN got into that during 2016 to 2020 with the whole circus, and now they realized, hey, this is having negative externalities in our democracy, and advertisers are like, yeah, can you just start reporting news again? If the ratings go down, it doesn't matter.
You're making it such a black and white issue. It's not just CNN wasn't the only news network that was shitting on Trump. It was ABC, Fox, it was NBC, it was MSNBC.
I'm just we're using it for the case study here because I'm trying to get my point across.
But I'm telling you, you're looking at it in a very black and white way. It was Trump constantly shitting on them, which made his minions constantly shit on them, and it at first that drove their content and they loved it. They was getting a lot of ratings, but then now they're becoming like a meme. Is like, oh, you're CNN, you don't tell the truth. That's like a meme amongst news networks. But it had nothing to do with them and everything to do with an opposition saying, well, I didn't say nothing. It had more to do with the opposition saying they're liars rather than them actually lying.
Right. So now they're not reporting inflammatory news that gets the most eyeballs, that gets the most clicks. They're just trying to maintain their integrity as a news network and appeal to advertisers and not necessarily pump Trump 24/7.
Yep.
Okay. We'll see. We'll see.
Do you actually agree?
What goes down.
No, I think that's
okay.
Not the way this world
we can
works.
move on.
We don't need to dive into this any further. I think we got to the bottom of that conversation.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for listening to Nanodosing. We'll be back on Thursday, and I'm sure that it will be a hell of an episode. We're going to have a lot to talk about. Thursday, the calm before the storm, Big T. You're gonna be nervous on Thursday's episode.
Well, we record on Wednesday, so.
Yeah, but you're still gonna be nervous. Big day. I envy you because you have this entire week to look forward to something big, like a big sport.
It does.
event.
It is a fun week.
Yeah.
I woke up this morning. I was like, damn, it's like I have to do 3 whole days before it's Thursday,
Mm-hmm.
and then Thursday's gonna feel like 3 more days.
You're gonna have a great time.
It's gonna be fun.
All right. We'll see you guys on Thursday. Love you guys.